Hello and welcome to Digital Goulash. My name is Chucky and today we're going to use Photoshop Elements to create this flaming tiger. Yes, just what you wanted, a flaming tiger. Now I want to go ahead and thank DBS Zabo1 for the tiger over on DeviantArt, and I want to thank Random FTW for the use of the flame using the Creative Commons license, and I also want to give a thanks to BakaArts for giving me this idea. It is actually his idea, and it was ported to the full version of Photoshop, and I'm just showing people how to use Photoshop elements to create the same effect. Let's go ahead and get started and look at what I have here. I have this nice tiger and it looks like the tiger is on fire. I'm going to go ahead and go back on my image as I always do, and I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to revert my image back to the original tiger. Now one thing that you'll notice is I have put the toolbar over here in the layers palette, and that is because of my recording so that it'll all fit on the screen at once. The first thing we need to do is we need to get rid of the color in the tiger, and the easiest way to do that is to go to the Enhance menu and go to Convert to Black and White. Now over here you have some styles that you can choose from. Let's go ahead and just pick Portrait right there and let's select OK. Now once you have that done, we need to give this a little bit of contrast because we're going to invert it. So we're going to go back to the Enhance menu, we're going to go to Adjust Lighting, and then we're going to pick Levels. Now you can use the Command or Control shortcuts. That is the Command L or the Control L to get to Levels. Let's go ahead and do that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slide the white slider over to the left to kind of give it a little bit of brightness. We want some of those nice whites that we have here. We're going to drag the black to the center and we're going to create some really nice blacks inside there, and then we're going to give it just a little bit of contrast by moving the gray slider over a little bit. Now I can't tell you the exact numbers because it's up to your liking whether or not you like to have the tiger really punchy or just kind of a little more flat. So let's go ahead and select OK. You can use my numbers if you want, 27.83 and 150. Click the OK key and then we have it right there. Now I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut, that is the Command I. That is going to invert our image, change the blacks to white and the whites to black. And there we have it there. Now what we need to do is we need to have a little bit more contrast there. So we're going to go back to the Enhance menu. We're going to go to Adjust Color. Actually I lied. We're going to go to Adjust Lighting and we're going to pick the Brightness and Contrast. And then we're going to slide the brightness over. We want some of those nice whites right there, and then we're going to slide the contrast over. We want to have this nice and contrasty, and we want to have some of these nice blacks. Once we're done with that, we're going to select OK. Now what we need to do is we need to have a nice background. What we're going to do is we're going to put a transparent layer under the layer 0. So if you hold your Command or Control key and click the new layer icon, or what I call the dog ear, it will put a transparent layer underneath your image. Now we need to pick some nice colors. I am using the red and the black. So if you click the foreground color right there, go and jump to the red and then pick a nice dark red or burgundy. There we have it right there. And then for the background, we're going to click the background and we're just going to pick a straight black. There we go. Select OK. Now, you guessed it, we're going to put a nice gradient in there. So click on the gradient tool, which is in your toolbar right there. Click on that. Then we need to go to our option bar and make sure that we have the red to black, or should I say burgundy to black right there. And then we're going to pick the nice circular gradient that we have right there. Make sure that you are on layer 1. Click on the center of the picture and then drag out to the corner, and it should give you a nice gradient of red to black. So there we have it. Now that you have the nice burgundy to black background in a circular gradient, now we need to make a little bit of changes on our layer with the line. What we're going to do first is we're going to go to the blending mode and change that from normal, and we're going to go down to screen, and what that's going to do is it's going to make the blacks transparent. Then we're going to take the opacity over here and we're going to dial that down to about 50%. Once we have that done, we're going to create another new layer, or the dog ear icon in the layers palette. We're going to go ahead and click on that. Now what we need to do is we need to have a nice yellow to orange gradient. So we need to change our colors in our palettes again. So I'm going to change my burgundy. I'm going to change that to a nice yellow, kind of a nice bright yellow here. And then I'm going to click on the black right there and change that to a nice orange in the background. Now once we have the gradient tool selected, we're going to go over and look. We want to make sure that it's going from yellow to orange over in the preview window over there, and we still have the circular gradient. I'm going to go ahead and draw from the center, and I'm going to draw out, and what that's going to do is it's going to provide us with a yellow to orange line. And there we have it. Whoa, unfortunately it just looks like yellow to orange. We have to change the blending mode. So let's go ahead and go under the normal blending mode, and we need to change that again. So let's go ahead and change that into a nice overlay. And it's already starting to look a little bit like he's on fire right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drag this flame that we got from the description, the link in the description. We're going to drag that on top of our photo right there. As you can see, it's kind of big, so let's go ahead and click on the Move tool because we need to change this in size. We need to kind of size that down just a little bit. Probably should have sized it before I drug it in there, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and size this down to where we like it. I'm going to keep making it just a little bit smaller. And then what we need to do is we need to get rid of the black background. Now, as you saw before, what was the command or the action that caused the black to turn transparent? Well, if you remember right, that was a blending mode that we used right there. And what was that blending mode? That blending mode was screen, and that screen made all the black pixels transparent. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's click on the normal, and let's go on down to screen, and that should get rid of the blacks. Now all we have left is the fire. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this fire, and for brevity, this video has already gone a little bit too long, I'm just going to go ahead and drop a few of them on this lion right there when I'm kind of happy with that. Hit the enter key. Now we're going to duplicate the fire again and hit Command or Control J, and then you can go ahead and move that fire to another part of the tiger somewhere, maybe on the tail or something. You can go ahead and use the handles to spin it around a little bit like that, and go ahead and be creative and drop the flames, because the flames are just going to sit over the tiger and make the tiger look like the tiger is on fire. And you're going to keep duplicating that layer of fire right there. You're going to keep moving it around over there. You're going to keep twisting it. If you put your move tool towards the corner, you can twist the flames around, and you're just going to keep moving that flame and putting it all around the tiger so that the tiger has a lot of flames around the body. Now once you have them all where you want them, what you're going to have to do is merge the layers. So you're going to click on the very topmost fire layer. You're going to hold the Shift key and then click on the bottommost fire layer. That's going to highlight all of your layers. Then you're going to right click on those layers, and then you're going to put merge layers. Now what's going to happen is it's going to put that back to the normal blending mode. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go over there. We're going to have to change it back to screen, and there we have it. Now if there's a little bit of fire that's sticking out that does not look good, you can always go over there to the eraser tool, pick a nice eraser there, and then just erase those things or the parts of the flame that you do not want. Now I'm going to go ahead and jump over to one of the ones that I've already done. I've got it in my recent files right over here. It says Flaming Tiger, and that's pretty much what your tiger is going to look like when you're done. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my videos, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, and pass my link on to your friends. Cheers!